What's up everyone, this is Emily and welcome to the first monthly setup of my fan art bullet journal. All of my themes for my 2021 bullet journal will be inspired by some of my favorite TV shows and movies, hence why I'm calling it Fan Art Bujo. Today I'll be setting up my January spreads and I'm really excited because this month's theme is inspired by my favorite show of all time, The Office. Now I know it's kind of cliche these days to say your favorite show is The Office, but The Office has been my favorite TV show since I was a kid, so no exaggeration, it's been my favorite show for over half of my life. And this is way before Netflix even existed, so I used to watch it the old-fashioned way, which was live on TV every week. And I also used to watch it all on DVD because we owned the first few seasons on DVD. Anyway, for my cover page, I drew the iconic Office sign that you see at the end of the opening credits. But instead of it saying The Office, I just made it say January. I love the theme song so much. It just makes me so happy whenever I hear it and gets me really excited to watch the episode. I don't know about you all, but I never skip the Office theme song. Then for my quote page, I drew a few iconic items from the show, like Pam's teapot, Dwight's stapler and Jell-O, pretzel from Pretzel Day, and the oven mitt that Phyllis knitted Michael for Christmas. I had so much fun drawing these and coloring them in. I think they turned out so cute. I used my Posca paint pen to do the salt on the pretzel. And then I use these typewriter stamps for most of the quote, which is the famous last line of the series said by Pam. There's a lot of beauty in ordinary things. Isn't that kind of the point? I just love that quote so much. I think it really sums up the show so well and reminds us to appreciate the little things in life. I always kind of dream about getting that quote as a tattoo someday. And I added a yellow highlight to beauty so that I would stand out more, and yellow sort of becomes the common color that I use throughout this month's spreads. My next page is my important dates calendar. I started by drawing a giant pot of Kevin's famous chili and a candle made by Jan. Unfortunately, I mess up the label on the candle and have to go over the lines with white, so the candle didn't turn out as quite as good as I would have liked. I always set up my monthly calendar as a list because it's just so much quicker than drawing boxes. And on the right, I'm going to write down my work and school schedule because I'm in grad school and I'll be starting a new internship this month, so it's gonna be busy, and I just wanted a place to write down my schedule and classes and stuff. And then I added a yellow highlight on both pages to tie in the yellow with the other spreads. Next up is my habit tracker, goals, gratitude, and mood tracker. I use this month stamp by Sniggle Sloth that I got on Etsy, and it makes setting up your habit trackers a lot faster. And then a doodle I use throughout this month are these sticky notes, which are cute. Underneath that I have my mood tracker, which I hope you can recognize. It's supposed to be the candy jar on the reception desk. I had trouble coming up with something that I could use, and I thought this could be cute to color in a jelly bean for each day. So the candy jar was kind of hard to draw since it's like a box and it's not really a jar. But I drew 31 jelly beans with my fine liner and then colored in random blobs behind those as if they were like jelly beans, so it would look like the whole jar was full. But I made sure to use different colors than my mood tracker just so that they wouldn't blend in. And then I colored it gray underneath so that it would look like it's sitting on Pam's desk. Next, I did all the stamping for my weekly spreads. I used the typewriter letter stamps again for the days of the week and my mini calendar stamp. So, fun fact, The Office is the TV show that inspired me to want to become a television writer. A few years ago, I moved to Los Angeles. I lived there for a year, but it didn't end up being a good fit for me, and I was really homesick. So I decided to move back home. But moving there was such a good learning experience for me, and I still love to write and would love to maybe write novels or comics or something one day. I thought it would be fun to have each of my weekly spreads inspired by one of the characters from the show. So first up is the one and only Michael Scott. For his decoration, I had to include his iconic World's Best Boss mug. And then I also drew a Dundee, the famous bushiest beaver. I used 3 different shades of yellow from super light to like almost orange. And I start with the lightest yellow and work my way up to the dark yellow. And I make sure to leave some white spots for highlights. I use the same technique on the bushiest beaver plaque and like the base of the Dundee. And I apologize for the terrible lighting in this video. I had to film this over multiple days because it's currently winter where I live and the sun sets really early and most days are cloudy, so we don't get much sun at all. All in all, I'm pretty happy with how the Dundee turned out. And I also included a funny quote for each character on their page. So you'll see that Michael's was, I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. Next up is assistant to the regional manager, Dwight K. Schrute. Of course, for Dwight, I had to draw his bobblehead and some beats. I use the same layout for all my weekly spreads because as of right now, I just like a lot of space to make daily to-do lists. I tried a rolling weekly layout for a while, and I just found that I was procrastinating on all the tasks and they would just pile up in the weekly to-do list and I wasn't getting to them, so I need a daily to-do list just to keep me on track. For Dwight's quote, I chose, "Don't be an idiot, changed my life," in which he was talking about some advice that Michael once gave him. I feel like Dwight's whole life mantra is don't be an idiot. I decided to color Dwight's skin tone in with colored pencil because I always feel like the skin tone markers you get are way too dark and pink and never look that good. Next up is everyone's favorite receptionist, Pam Beasley. For Pam's items, I drew a pencil cup with some paintbrushes and art supplies since she's an artist. And then I drew her white sneakers, for which she won the Whitest Sneakers Dundee. I use my gray fine liner to add a little shading to the sneakers. And then for the coloring of the art supplies, I used light pastel colors because whenever I think of Pam, I think of her in like a light pink sweater. So I just felt like those colors represented her the most. For her quote, I chose, "I don't care what they say about me, I just want to eat," which is from the dinner party episode, and I just relate to Pam a lot in that moment. I think Pam gets a lot of unnecessary hate in my opinion, and as I've gotten older, I've grown to love Pam more and more as a character, and I relate to her more and more, so I really think she's one of the most underappreciated characters on the show. Last but not least, everyone's favorite prankster, Jim Halpert. I had a hard time coming up with items for Jim than the other characters, but I finally thought of his mug and the yogurt medal from Office Olympics. For Jim's quote, I chose, "I'm about to do something very bold in this job that I've never done before. Try," which I thought was funny and summarized Jim perfectly. It turns out drawing paper clips is a lot harder than I thought it would be, and for the yogurt lid, I used the same technique as the Dundee. For my final pages, I stamped Party Planning Committee, which has nothing to do with the spread, but I just wanted to include as many references to the show as I could. This is actually my media tracker, so it's where I write down all the TV shows and movies and stuff that I consume throughout the month. Normally I divide them into boxes, but I'm trying this new technique where I just highlight them based on the category, because a lot of the time I wasn't even filling up the boxes. I always like to do a monthly review, so I thought it would be cute to call it the Employee Performance Review. This is another new thing I'm trying because normally I just write like a paragraph summary for the month, but I wanted to answer more specific questions and see if it helps me reflect more meaningfully on the month. And don't worry, I fixed the "your" typo in the third question. Alright, here's my final flip through for January 2021. I absolutely love my cover page and quote page. I think they're so cute but simple, and it just instantly makes me think of The Office and makes me so happy when I look at it. Next is my important dates, and you'll see I added the boxes where I'm going to write down my work and class schedule. Then we have my habit trackers, my goals, the gratitude sticky notes, and Pam's candy jar mood tracker. The first weekly spread is centered around Michael. I think his or Pam's setup ended up being my favorite, even though I do really love how Jim's mug turned out. Second is Dwight's spread. I'm not super happy with how the beads turned out. They just look kind of flat. But the bobblehead is pretty cute, I guess. Next is Pam's spread. I love the colors for this spread. I just think it's really simple but cute. Then finally, it's Jim's weekly spread. Again, I just love how the mug turned out. I drew it a little close to the calendar, but can't be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, right? And the last two pages are my media tracker and my monthly review. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me include lots of Office references into these pages. Let me know in the comments section which weekly spread was your favorite, or just who your favorite Office character is in general. As I mentioned in the beginning, all of my themes for 2021 will be based on TV shows and movies. So be sure to subscribe to see more fan art Bujo. I'm excited to announce that February will be Tangled themed, so I hope you'll join me for that when it comes out in a few weeks. In the meantime, enjoy the start of your new year, and I'll see you soon for my February 2021 setup.